Hey, welcome to Gearing Up for Winter Travel in the High Sierras, your winter gear guide to cold weather travel. This is the second video. The first one dealt with ascertaining our route. Vitally important for gear selection to ascertain your route, the elevation, mileage, the exposure. This video, part 2 now, is going to deal with weather. So we're going to look at some basic considerations about ascertaining the recent weather history of the location, the present weather, and trying to extrapolate from that the future weather. In this case, we're going to use the national weather, we're going to use TahoeToWhitney.com. We're going to use the weather resources there. And through the Trail Guide website, we're going to access the National Weather Service. We're going to look at the Weather Service maps. We're going to look at the Weather Service satellites. We're going to read local real-time reporting weather stations, and we're going to ascertain the layout of the weather there so we can best pick our equipment to suit the conditions we're likely to get. So first, we're going to go to the website here, the TahoeToWhitney.com site. Hold on. Right here we're on the front page of TahoeToWhitney.com, and we're going to look at the left sidebar. We're going to roll our mouse over there, and we're going to go down to the second category. First one is the trails, and here we got our basic information about the trails, the maps, the mileages, the elevations and such. And then we'll go down to the second section, which is the weather conditions, and we're going to hit weather notes first. And we got our High Sierra weather information page here. Now, here we got a number of different resources. First resource is the Northern High Sierras. Now, this backpacking trip is going to take place in Northern High Sierras, so we're going to hit that link, and we're going to get our page that has our resources that we've got online so far. These resources are our South Lake Tahoe weather map, or weather page. We're going to go there, and we're going to see a variety of information displayed on this page. The most predominant piece of information is going to be the South Lake Tahoe weather map. Now we're on the weather map here. The big red dots represent real-time weather reporting stations. So you can see here we've got the South Desolation, southwest, south portion of Lake Tahoe mapped out here. And then the next map down is the Carson Pass region weather map, which has the Carson Pass and the related trails laid out with local real-time reported weather stations as well. And you can see we can click on any of these points and go to, in this case, this is a federal real-time reporting station, which has our snow depth. It has 24-hour precipitation and high and low temperatures in a 24-hour period. So in this particular location, we're looking at 73 inches of snow at the Carson Pass itself. We're looking at between 28 and 41 degree temperature span. And let's see, we'll go back to the map here. We'll go over to the Snyder's Camp station. Now, at Snyder's Camp, that's at 8,750 feet. It's on the south side of the Tahoe Rim. We'll be crossing out of the Tahoe Rim quite close to there. So we're going to look at the snow depth there, and we're getting 20 inches of snow, not too much in that particular location. We're getting low temperatures in the single digits. Now, for my period of time here, when I'm going out, we've got 3, 2, and -1 as our daily lows prior to heading out on this trip. So we're looking at some real cold, real low temperatures along the Tahoe Rim, exiting the Tahoe Basin between Lake Tahoe and the Carson Pass. So, you know, we got these real-time stations, we got these maps, and we're going to survey. Now, if you aren't backpacking in a location that I've yet covered in the High Sierras, you too can go to the National Weather, your state Department of Water Resources, and they'll have real-time reporting stations for the local areas where your snowfall, snowpack, where your summertime water supplies are going to be stored. Most states have these kind of things. California's got an extensive grid of real-time reporting stations and snow sensors, so we can ascertain the actual conditions on the ground, the actual temperatures, how much snow there is, and get a good idea of that particular location itself, look at its history, look at what it is presently, and start to ascertain. Now that's our background, and that's our present. Now we got to look into the future. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our Northern High Sierra weather page here. Okay, and we're going to go back to the weather notes. Now, on the weather notes page, you can see we have our northern, central, and southern High Sierras pages. Now, I've only got portions of the northern one done so far, but you can still access this information through the state. And once you go through the northern High Sierras links, you can move to the southern High Sierras reporting stations once you link to them through my site here. Okay, so scroll down below that, and you're going to see right here, we've got general links. This is the National Weather Service satellites, and I've got this link to the Western United States page, but you can move to other parts of the United States and look at the local satellite stuff. Now check this out, this is good. We're going to go down and we're going to look at the water vapor, and we're going to look at the satellite view from 28 kilometers above the United States in this portion of the United States in the animated view. And you can see that we're getting a little JavaScript animation of the real-time, of actually the last few hours of the water vapor movement across the northeastern Pacific and the northwestern United States. And you can see here that we can look at the storms, we can look at the movement of we can ascertain the jet stream, we can ascertain lots of things from this neat little map. Okay, so we got a little satellite thing here. We're going to go back to my main page here. Now we're going to look at another really important feature for figuring out what the future trends are going to be. We're going to hit the National Weather Service Maps link. Now this is bringing us to the U.S. weather map. And this will have all the fronts, the highs and lows of the present day, of the present time here. But below the current map, we're going to go down and we can see that we've got from 12 to 48 hours of fronts and precipitation movement across this weather map, and then we've got from day 3 to day 6 weather map projections. Okay, so we're going to look at the day 3 fronts, and we can see how the highs and lows and all the weather fronts are all laid out, and we'll go back to the day 3, and now we're going to look at day 6. And we can see that major changes have occurred. Now we can track these changes as we look at the day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6 maps and start to get a real good idea about how the general conditions in our weather region are going to change. Okay? Now this is really important because we're going to look at the current weather, the temperature span, we're going to look at the current weather conditions, we're going to ascertain the gear required for that, and then we're going to look into the future, and we're going to determine what kind of gear we're going to need for the next 5 days. So we'll go back, and yet go back to my site again here, and we're going to get National Weather Service winter weather forecasts. Okay, so here we got our probability maps for snow, ice, all sorts of stuff here, and you can see the U.S. is laid out in a snow map here. Okay, so we'll go back to my site here, and we'll go back up to Northern Sierra weather, and we're going to go to the South Lake Tahoe weather, and then on the resource page, prior to the map, you can get to the map right here and look at all the real-time stations, but here we've got the National Weather Service forecast for this region. So we got the 7-day South Lake Tahoe weather forecast, and then we got we'll check that out first. And so here's our local South Lake Tahoe 7-day forecast showing the upcoming trends. And then we're going to look at the detailed, in-depth forecast. And this is going to bring us another 5-6 days into the future with more detailed, they write it out more thoroughly. They give you a more detailed description of their projections. Okay, so we got the real-time stations. We got the local conditions, the temperature span. We got the local recent history. We look at the weather maps. We determine what the fronts, the highs and lows, what the future conditions, the general regional weather pattern is going to be. Then we look at the detailed forecasts, and we can get the meteorologist's detailed forecast. And then we've looked at the satellites, so we can see, what's up over the Aleutians or what's heading across the Central Pacific towards us. And now, by utilizing all these little bits of information, we can determine, are we going to get snow? What's the likelihood of snow? What's the likely range of temperatures we're going to get? And now we can ascertain exactly what kind of gear we're going to need. So, in my case, I'm looking at starting in very low temperatures. The overnight lows will be in single digits. The daytimes are going to be clear and crisp, and it looks like sunny weather, so I'm going to have to be dealing with the intensity of reflected light and heat within a great snow bowl. So I'm going to have to be able to strip down and operate without sweating myself out during the day, and I'm going to have to layer up heavily for 0-degree temperatures. So now we've got the weather, we've got our route, and our final part of this great puzzle is going to be to go through the gear pieces that we're going to utilize themselves. Cool, I'll out.